Your film opens with a game played in secret. In 1944, Coach John McClendon led his team from the North Carolina College for Negroes against one of the leading college powers of the day, the all-white team from Duke. Duke remains a major power. How did the game go?
The North Carolina College for Negro guys beat them 88-44.
Double. They doubled the score. Why did it have to be secret?
It was against the law. The game was to play in an integrated atmosphere. It was against the law throughout the South, and the game was played on a Sunday in Durham because most people were in church. There were only 2 referees and a scorekeeper allowed, no fans, no media. They were a top team, mostly returning veterans from the war, and they were older. Most of the black players had never even spoken to, touched, or had any communication with a white player before, ever.
So was it a matter of just having different styles of play?
The style of play, and this was from, my film is about historical black colleges and basketball and the civil rights movement. The style of play was to run and fast break, and McClendon, who was one of the thinkers and shapers of the fast break, not given the credit for. His teams were to average 97 points a game when other teams were averaging 62 a game. The black players just outran them. However, that type of basketball, well into the 1960s, was referred to by many people as jungle ball. And if you look at teams now, well, of course, they're run and gun. Mike D'Antonio shoots every 7 seconds. Well, that's what McClendon, who learned the game from Naismith, was preaching in the 40s.
What did he learn from Naismith, who wanted a very different kind of game? He wanted a game in which there was no contact.
But McClendon actually was a student of Naismith's at the University of Kansas in the 30s. He's half Cherokee, half black, McClendon, and he went to Kansas to learn from Naismith.
Well, he's been called the godfather of black college basketball, but how much was the lopsided victory due to the style of North Carolina and his team, and how much was it due to the quality of his players?
It was both. It was once the anxiety and nervousness left the players, they ran him out because they played a vital game. They played an energetic game. It was a different game. People were not using the fast break. McClendon actually also created what we know as now the four corners offense, generally accredited to Dean Smith or a guy named Danny Moe. But McClendon created the four corners. They called the jack in the box a 2 in a corner then. He was a head coach at 27. He was a brilliant thinker and teacher. Over 500 wins in his career, and influenced many, many, many people.
But the reason I ask you that is I wonder if those players on his team would have been stars on teams like Duke if segregation hadn't prevented it, or would they not have thrived in the style of play that Duke then practiced?
It's a good question. They had the ability and the intelligence to be stars. Whether the systems of the white schools, which we call majority schools, would have allowed them to play, I doubt it. The proof of that is when the NBA opened its doors to the black player in 1950, the black player, up until Elgin Baylor came into the league, was limited in what he could do. Even if he could shoot, run, jump, he was told, fill the lanes, get the rebounds, box out, play defense. No personal playing, no one-on-one playing.